Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome to episode 57 of the Let's Play series here over on Court Farms Country Park. So I hope you're all doing very well and having a lovely day. Right, it's the end of June now. We're at, it's about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening here. And as you can see, I'll just nip round the gate there. I've had a bit of a sort out round here now, onwards from the last episode, the last couple of episodes where I've been deliberating about what I'm going to be doing with the manure or with some of our manure and slurry. I've placed this lovely little mod down, this seed and fertilizer production factory. Now what I've done, obviously this is my sheep field. I have purchased this tiny little plot of land here that was just over £10,000. I did try and have a look at all options, or as many options as I could. Thank you to all of you who gave me suggestions in the comments for the last couple of videos regarding what possibilities are there for me. I did obviously considering things like BGAs. I've got Disturb Simulations wonderful industrial BGA mod installed, but expense wise that was a good, I think it was about 250 grand, which was pretty cheap compared to some BGAs. Some BGAs are north of 400. Yeah, for 250 grand I could have placed down that BGA and done something with it, but I didn't want to necessarily invest that £250,000 straight into that one thing. So what I have done, so for just north of 10 grand I purchased this plot of land. For 30 grand I placed down this mod here, which turns manure and manure and slurry and seeds into seeds and fertilizer. So if I go into the production menu very quickly here, it's this one here, solid fertilizer. So 100 manure plus 10 water makes 100 solid fertilizer, essentially 100 litres of. So as you can see, it's already producing away. I have filled it with manure. Now the numbers aren't particularly massive. I appreciate that. What I might do is in the future is potentially amend these in the XML just to increase their capacities a little bit. But either way, it's still useful. Now we can also create our own seeds from this using slurry, oats. Well, you can use the different crops there, can't you? You can use oat, barley and wheat, and also liquid fertilizer, but obviously I'm not going to be bothering with that. But the oat one, I'm quite keen to do that, to create our own seeds with a bit of our slurry as well, because I think I did mention in the last episode, I am also strongly considering, in fact I'm absolutely definitely considering purchasing another field. Now, because we are at the end of June and harvest will start literally tomorrow morning, again jumping into the map PDA very quickly up here, it was this one here, field 100. Now this is literally at the same stage as all of our other fields, almost ready to harvest. So if I was to purchase this now for the sum of £189,885, come tomorrow morning, that's going to be ready to harvest. And it's oats. So what I think I'm going to do is exactly that. Now this field hasn't been prepped. It's the quality of the land. Obviously I haven't scanned it yet because I don't own it, obviously, but pH values are not at their optimum, and neither is the nitrogen, so the yield values are going to be quite low on that field, but it's still going to be a yield nonetheless. So what my plan is, obviously, is to purchase the field, harvest it, put whatever will fill up this production system here with some of those oats, and the rest obviously will go into the silo, and then it will obviously be down to me to prep that field and rock and roll with that and get it up to scratch, as it were. So that's the plan. So we're going to essentially go back to the farm now. Everything else is ticking by nicely. I have onwards from purchasing that plot of land and that 30 grand production system, I have sold about 7 or I think it was 8 pallets of clothes. We got just north of £72,000 for those clothes. So that pretty much paid for that little investment there next to the farm. I didn't want to just place it anywhere, the production mod there. That's one of the reasons why I bought that little plot of land, because I felt it nestled nicely behind those trees, and just kind of kept itself out the way. It's not too intrusive. There were a handful of other fertilizer production mods, but they didn't really suit the map. I felt they were big tanks, and I felt they were a bit big, and they didn't really kind of suit the land and the map. So that's why I went for that one there. So, and we've got lots of wool still. The wool production, the spinnery is still almost full. I think it's got a few thousand litres of spare space now, but yeah, that's rammed to the top, as it were. So that's that, I think, for now. Now, also, forgive me, before I move forward, before we get into July, because we're going to be very, very busy as we move forward into July. We're going to have 7 or 8 fields to harvest. We're going to have a lot of work going on anyway, as it were. But what I did want to do first and foremost, or one of the first things I wanted to do in this video, is to say a massive thank you to my friend Mark Thor. I'm sure you all know who he is and what he does, for a couple of things. Now, obviously, I know I purchased that my new planter in the last episode as a result of Mark sending me his planter pack that he worked on. So I want to say again a massive thank you to you, Mark, for sending me that planter pack. It's brilliant, and I'm really glad that I now have that all-in-one seeder planter drill machine that we now have that will do everything that we want to plant on this farm, and also the if I was to even do them again, the premium crops, the red beets, carrots and parsnips. But also I want to thank him for fixing this windrower. Now, I bought this a couple of episodes ago, I think, and I did make use of it once in the last episode. I think you saw it very briefly in a bit of a cinematic when I was working in the grass fields. Now, I was really hopeful that downloading and purchasing this mod, that this was going to be the fix for the wandering windrower problem that I had, and it was. This does stay perfectly still. But frustratingly, the very first time I actually went to use it was during the cinematic of the grass work I was doing in the last episode, when I went to activate courseplay to get it to row up the hay, and then for me to, obviously I activate courseplay and auto drive and all that kind of stuff so that I can fly around it and make a cinematic. When I came to activate this thing, courseplay didn't recognise it as a windrower. There was a problem with the mod, and the mod was actually being recognised as a bunker tool, believe it or not. So it was telling me, so I couldn't activate courseplay because it was expecting to go and work in a bunker, which was ridiculous. So I very sheepishly went to Mr. Thor, sent him a quick message and said, is there any chance, mate, that you could cast your professional eye over this windrower? Because I'm sick of trying to find a windrower that just, stands still. That was my main kind of thing. Fortunately, this one did. It stood still, but it didn't work otherwise. And very kindly, Mr. Thor did. He worked his magic on this thing, and it is now a perfectly functioning windrower. And he also said that there was some animations in the spinning of the wheels there when it's doing its windrower thing that were, I think in his words, were completely wrong. So very kindly, he spent a few hours looking at this for me, sent it back to me, and it works perfectly. So forgive me, long story short, rant over. Mr. Thor, thank you so much for your time and your help making this thing work for me. So now, this is kind of now my favourite windrower in the game because it's a McHale thing. It looks really cool. It's very authentic to the area, to the UK anyway, for a European map, and it works absolutely perfectly, and it stands still. So, brilliant. So again, thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. Right, anyway, so that's now where we're up to. Obviously, the animals are all fine. Chickens, cows, sheep are all good. Sheep are producing more wool than we can handle right now. We've actually now got a couple of clothes pallets still left over at the tailors at Farmani there to be sold. So I'm going to, with it being the evening time now in June, we're going to go to sleep. Or in fact, what I'm going to do first, actually, before we do anything, is I'm going to purchase that plot of land. So farmland. There we go. Select that. Yep, 189. Buy. Boom. There we go. So, map overview. These are now all of our fields. And that is a crop of oats. There we go. So we've got 2 fields of oats that are going to be ready to harvest, so we're going to have plenty to be able to afford to fill up our production system. And top up with that, stick the rest in the silo and go from there. So, time to go to sleep. I shall see you in July. Hello everyone, welcome to July. So, got up nice and early this morning, fed the cows, fed the chickens, made sure everything's as it should be. I've also been over to the tailors and sold another 7 pallets of clothes. I'll just stick this in here for now, I think. Nicely and out the way, there we go. Yeah, 7 pallets of clothes, we got just under 60 grand, 59,412. So after purchasing that field before, we're now sat at 348 grand, just under 349. So that is, I mean, we're doing all right now. The numbers are quite big. Our bank balance seems to settle nicely at within the six figures quite regularly now, so that's pretty decent. Obviously, I've got the lettuce, as you may well remember from the previous episode. I've set the lettuce and the bread over at the bakery to sell automatically. I'm thinking I might do the same with the clothes as well, get them to sell automatically, just to save me going back into just selling, you know, picking them all up and selling them randomly at times. I might just have them automatically sell for the sake of it, because they're bringing in a load of money. I don't need to worry about keeping going over there now. I can just set them to sell and just enjoy the money coming in, as it were. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But it's harvest time. It's July. All of our fields, or 7 of them, are ready to go. I think it's 7, in fact. Let's have a look. Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. And we've also got the grass field down here that's also ready to go again as well. But we're going to leave that for now. We're going to concentrate on the cereal crops and get everything done. So, busy, busy, busy. Let's get everything sorted out. I think the harvest is okay for fuel, but we'll just go check. But yeah, this is going to be busy now. This is going to be the content for a lot of this episode, or the rest of this episode. Where are we? Yeah, we're fine for fuel. We're all good. So, let's get everything sorted. I think, as I usually do, for the sake of just making things easy to work with, I'm going to work around the field in a clockwise direction. I think, yeah, I think what I might do, we'll start in field 110 here, which is our, what's that? I don't actually know. What's in our field 110? Is that wheat? I think it is wheat. I'm trying to go off the colour chart there, but it looks more like sunflowers, but it's not. I don't think it's sunflowers. No. What have I planted in here now? Field 110. It is wheat. Goodness me. Apologies, viewers. Yeah, the colour chart just didn't seem quite right there. Right, anyway, yeah, so let's go get sorted out, and I'll see you back at the field in a minute. With everything ready to go. Right, let's get the header attached and get cracking. So I've got the Massey all sorted here. Just fueled her up as well. So that's all ready for a day's work. Let's connect that PTO there. Job's a good one. Right, that's going to be easier doing it this way, isn't it? Just for a second or two. Just reverse neatly there. Right, so unfold that. Squeeze in if we can there. Drop the header down. Spin her up. In fact, let's just check that we have straw swath enabled. We do, because we need some of that. Lovely stuff. Right. Cinematic time. Let's harvest. Right, there we go. Field 1 harvested. Now we didn't do too bad out of that, literage-wise. We've got, I think, just over 11,000 left in the trailer here. 11,877. So let's go get this lot tipped into the silo. We will take a reading and see what we've got quantity-wise. We did have a couple of thousand litres left in there that we had set aside for the chickens, but it wasn't very much. As I say, it was literally like 2,000 or 3,000 litres, I think. So goodness me, that's a few jerky FPS lags there. I do apologise for that. Right, let's... There we go. That's where we want to be. Tip, tip, tip. Okay, 52,794 litres. That'll do. That will do just fine. If we have a look at the yield map, I think that did get slightly better. Yeah, a few more patches of deep green in there, so that's come up all right. What's that? That looks like 100 and predominantly 120, ranging from 100 to 120, with the occasional patch of yellow, which I think is somewhere in the 90s. But yeah, predominantly 100 to 120. So we did all right out of that one. It's all good. Okay, so I think we need to crack on with the next one, don't we? Now, I have just been, while doing all that, I have just been having a bit of a ponder, as I always do, while we're working away in the fields. We are going to have, obviously, huge amounts of straw to get picked up from the 7 fields that we're, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get straw from all of the crops, I think. So we're going to have a huge amount of straw anyway. So, and what I thought I might do for a bit of a difference, a bit of a change as to how I've been doing it so far, instead of running the baler and picking up the straw in the bales, what I think I might do, because I do have a particularly well blessed bank account right now, and because I want to put this other shed down here into some use, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase and invest in a new forage wagon, pickup wagon, and I'm going to tip all the loose straw as loose straw into here. Go from there, because at the minute, as I say, I know our feed mixer is turning straw into straw pellets as a result, potentially, of the installation of the straw mesh, the Creative Meshes straw harvest pack. Yeah, the straw is being turned into straw pellets. Now it's I suppose it's neither here nor there. But apparently, according to one of you in the comments several weeks ago in one of the other episodes, that's not meant to happen. The Keenan feed mixer that I've got there should still recognise straw as straw. So yeah, as I say, what I think I might do is throw a bit of money at a nice large capacity forage wagon, pick up all the loose straw, manually tip it in here into a nice big pile, and just help myself to it using the telehandler, and top up the cows that way. Seems like a sensible thing to do. So what that will mean is also selling this current little pickup wagon that we've got. This a bit, I suppose it's a bit old and rudimentary and a bit old school, but yeah, and I've not really used it much. I think I used it quite early on at the beginning for picking up loose grass and stuff, but obviously we're going up in the world. The bank account's well blessed, so I think it's about time that we treated ourselves to a new one of these, a nice big one. And potentially a new water tank as well into the future as well, because I did run around before this episode in between days, just topping up the lettuce tunnels with water in the sheep trough over there in the sheep pasture with water. But this thing only holds 7,500 litres, so I think I might have a look around and get a nice new, slightly bigger one, I think, with a much bigger capacity. So yeah. Anyway, and this thing, I'm sure those of you who have been listening to me babble on for weeks in my episodes know that I have pet peeves of wandering implements, but this thing does the same thing. This Donnelly trailer, even though it's a beautiful thing silage trailer wise, it wanders. Not very much, admittedly, but it doesn't half annoy me. It's the little things in it. So what I might do instead potentially is, just for the sake of keeping my OCD at bay, I might get rid of this and replace it with one of the Richard Weston ones, because from this Richard Weston pack, you can equip them with the silage grates on the side as well. So I may well go for that. Yeah, and go from there potentially, but we shall see. Anyway, the harvest must continue. We have several more to harvest. What I think I am going to do now is get straight into the newest field purchase, field 100. I did check over it before. I haven't done any soil scanning or anything like that yet with the little scanner, but I did just step foot in the field, and the information told me that the nitrogen and the pH values are absolutely diabolical, and the current expected yield is mid 60%, about 66%, I think. So it's not going to be too great, but it is a reasonable sized field. So regardless, we will still get a decent chunk of oats out of that, and as I said before, we'll get most of it in here, and we'll put as much as we can. We'll fill the fertilizer production system down there with 20,000 litres of the stuff. So yeah, all good. We're doing all right. So yeah, let's crack on. I think I might put this into another cinematic, because as some of you may have already seen from the cinematic I've just made, I've got a few new tools, video stuff wise, to try and make cinematics look a bit more cinematic. So I need to practice with them and fiddle around with the settings and stuff. So yeah, we'll get into the new oat field, and I'll present that to you in a cinematic as well. So let's get all the equipment over there, and I'll see you in a few moments. Well, fortunately, this is the field we've just been working in, field 110, but we do have this already made entrance for us into the lane that's next to our new field here, field 100. So that's all good, but unfortunately, it's one of these wooden gates, and it's really, really narrow. I can just get the harvester through it, but in order to do it remotely properly and bring the header and the header trailer into the field to load up, I've had no choice but to admit a bit of defeat there and apply a bit of crop destruction. Just couldn't do anything about it. So what we'll do, we'll close this gate for now, just to allow the harvester to move about a bit better. We'll connect up the PTO. There we go. But yeah, as I say, there's not much I've been able to do here in that respect. So let's drop the header down, power it up, give ourselves a bit of a patch here, shall we, just to be able to move around a bit. Let's do a bit of an Austin Powers here if we can, just to 100-point turn. Just get this little bit in the corner. Every little helps and all that, doesn't it? There we go. Right, okay. That'll do for now, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get around one headland, even though the yield is particularly low. As I say, if I bring up the menu now, there we go. Yeah, pH and nitrogen values are bad in red. Expected yield 66, yield potential 89. So needs a bit of work, this field does, when we've done, but until we're done, let's crack on with the harvest. So cinematic number 2. See you shortly. Right, that's us done. Field 2 done. We're not doing bad, to be honest, because it's just turned 8:30 in the morning. We've got 2 fields harvested already, so pretty chuffed with that. Considering I was worrying about having to increase the number of days per month, which I'm still considering doing. But as I say, we've got 7 fields to harvest at the minute. We've done 2 already, and it's, as I say, 8:30 in the morning, so it's all good, I feel. But I hadn't. I had kind of temporarily forgotten that when I talked about increasing the monthly days in the last episode, I was kindly reminded by Cartech that yes, it doesn't take into effect till the next season, not the next month. So yeah, I hadn't actually properly factored that bit in. So as it happens, harvest is still going to be done within the 2 days. So it is what it is. Anyway, right, that was an abysmal harvest, yield-wise, as I was expecting it to be, jumping into the map PDA. Well, if I jump into time-saving stock check, you can see there that we have just under 27,000 litres of oats in the silo. The Massey should have tipped that last load in there now, so pretty abysmal. But as I say, it's what we were expecting. There's the yield map there, so that's what we have predominantly on our farms. A nice predominant shades of green here and there. This field hasn't been properly dealt with yet either, I don't think. That's the grass field, the latest grass field acquisition. And this is the field we've just been in there. So it's pretty much as it said it was going to be, about 65%, with a hint of 85 perhaps there. But yeah, field prep is key if you want the yield. So anyway, let's get back to the farm. I think that's going to be it for today's episode anyway, harvest-wise, but that's going to be that. But I think what I'm going to do now, get back to the farm, get all the equipment back to the farm, and I think I'm going to go and treat myself to that new pickup wagon that I was thinking of, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it into practice. I'm going to go and buy a pickup wagon, get those 2 fields picked up of straw, and get that straw loosely tipped into the empty shed. See how that goes. So, as I say, I'm going to play a bit of tidy up, get the kit back to the farm, and I'll join you on my journey down to the shop. Right, off to the shop. We'll take this old thing down there, see what they'll give us for it. I have got my eye. I've just had a look in the shop, obviously, and see what forage wagons are available. I have got my eye on one of the base game ones. I think is it Sweetmaker it's called. It's £100,000. It's got a 35,000 litre capacity. It's not one of the really big ones with the triple axles. It is only a double axle, and I'm pretty certain that they all have like a rear steer function on them, so that it should be okay for manoeuvring in relatively tight corners and getting in and out of fields and stuff. I hope I don't live to regret it, because it's a big investment at 100,000 quid. But either way, it's going to be worth it. And what I'm going to have to do first is I'm going to have to stop this in its tracks, because I'm going to have to open the gate. Because even though we've got 2 fields harvested already this morning, the shop still hasn't opened. Right, so we'll go get this transaction done. I'll see you in a second. There we go, there it is. The new forage wagon. So I did equip it with the silage additive tank as well, which was an extra 2k I think. So we got 3,700 for the old thing. So yeah, all good. So as I say, it's not one of the really big ones. It requires about 150 horsepower I think to pull it, which obviously the John Deere here and the Massey have both got plenty of. So it's all good. And I think it should be about right. It is quite a wide boy, I've got to say. So I know field access might be a bit awkward in places. I did have quite a nightmare, I'll be honest, running the cinematic that we just saw there on the new oat field. The gate, with it being one of these wooden gates, it's really narrow, and even with that big Richard Weston trailer, it was really difficult getting auto drive to come in and out of that field, even driving in what was essentially a straight line. That the trailer in particular seems to have a bit of a catch at the back where it's wider than it appears to be. But anyway, I managed it. It got sorted. Right, so we're going to get ourselves home. I'm going to run this in the 2 fields, and I will pick you back up in a little while's time when all the straw has been picked up, and hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, it all goes successfully well, and we'll have a nice big pile of loose straw in my, at the minute, empty shed. So I'll see you soon. Well, I think my initial plan for this is a little bit scuppered. It has worked. But there. This is 90-odd thousand litres. 3 trailers of this. 3 of this in here. It's pretty much the first 2 headlands and a little bit of the 3rd headland of field 110. So I appreciate the yield in that field is much greater than the other one. Obviously we got a bit more straw out of that one, but yeah. As for the concept of getting both fields worth of straw in here, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is already... We might get 1 or 2 more, maybe 2 more trailers in here at an absolute push. And I have used the telehandler with its vast capacity bucket here just to try and neaten things up a little bit, just give ourselves a bit of space here. Not that I need it, this is just essentially just a straw storage shed now, isn't it? But yeah, still going to be quite a lot of work to do, and I'm obviously going to have to get the baler out and bale a load of the straw up, because we ain't getting both 2 fields in here at all. Having never done this before, obviously I didn't appreciate exactly how much space the straw would take up, but nonetheless, we've made use of this shed for now. We have some loose stuff in here. As I say, I'll potentially try and get another trailer or 2 in here, and then I'll call it that, but and then bale up the rest. And I might even potentially sell the other bales, sell those straw bales. Not that I know I'm not going to get a huge amount of money for them, but may as well. So, anyway, I think I'm going to call it here for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a bit done, obviously. We've started our fresh harvest for this year. We've got 2 of the 7 fields done, or 10 fields in total, but obviously 3 of them aren't ready yet. But yeah, we made a good dent in the start of that. We've got the new field as well. That's been harvested, obviously not with a particularly big yield. In fact, actually, while I'm here, I haven't actually done that yet, but I'll just go and check exactly how much oat we got off from that field. Let's go and check the readout over at the silo here. See what we got. Where are we? 26,914 litres. So yeah, it was pretty abysmal, but better than nothing. As I say, we'll get prepping in that field, get the soil sorted, and top it up with its nitrogen and pH values, and by come the next time, the yield will be much more improved. So, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I really do hope you've enjoyed this episode and found it even remotely fun and interesting. As always, if you're new to my channel, you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the channel. Giving the video a like if you can. Hitting that like button does do wonders for the channel. It helps YouTube do its algorithm thing. And as always, there are a host of links in the video description below with my Giants Partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for an add-on, a DLC, a season pass, or even the full game itself, and you like the idea of helping the content creator out at the same time as making that purchase, I would be massively appreciative. So take care, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next episode.